My name is Axel Lorenz. Thanks for having me. I would like to give a short introduction how we think about the change. I think this morning the three speakers already have been talking about the change. And really, if you look at that, and if we think about history, change is not that new. I mean, we've been talking to our customers since decades, and it's always been about how can you make me more productive? How can you make me faster? How can you make me more flexible? How can you make me more safe? It was a little bit of change like before COVID when we learned about digitalization. And then we learned, hey, digitalization could reap more benefits. It could be a real step change. It could be a real disruption that we're using. And while we're still getting acquainted to that, working on that, we had other topics coming up. We had sustainability, which we were not talking before. And we were hit by COVID, by supply chain issues, by, let's say, global unbalance. So things became more difficult. And at the same point of time, we have to increase the speed. So what we learn out of that is, number one, we have to fasten because we do have to change. And number two, this is not going to be the last time we have to live through the change. We probably see another big change coming up before we retire. So we have to get used to that because we do have to cope at the same point of time with cost pressures and sustainability hitting our end customers who are in the chemical industry. We have to shorten innovation cycles because, giving you an example from the pharmaceutical industry, without digitalization, the pharmaceutical industry would have not been able to develop a vaccine against COVID within 18 months. And we have to, because individualized products are the requirement of today and the speed is rising. We have to use IT and we have to deal with the complexity of IT, not only to bring it into the shop floor so that we can make a real use of it and teach our people, we also have to live with the complexity of cybersecurity that we have to bring into the shop floor. And then deal with the higher flexibility our customers demanding and do all of that at the same point of time where we have a shortage of skilled labor because the baby boomers are going to retire. So how can we possibly do that? And how can we make that sustainable so that we will be able to do that again? Well, the answer is that we see Siemens uniquely combines the digital twin of the real world and of the digital world. And we have to create the digital twin for both, and we have to combine those digital twins. Number one, for the reason that we learned earlier about, because we have to provide the return on investment in the first place. So having a digital twin for the product and for the production will, of course, help you to be faster in engineering, do simulation and training even before the plant is built, fasten up the commissioning by virtual commissioning, and work globally and virtually with your teams globally. And then use all those twins, what is happening in your production and what is happening with your product in order to optimize the flexibility. Which feedstock are you using tomorrow? Which feedstock can you use for your plant and which product can you produce? So from the top level of the ERP down to the batch, you need to use that in order to be more flexible. But all of that, not only once. You need to be able to go back iteratively again and again and again, because you're not going to do that once. You have to do that over and over and over again. Because one thing is sure, we will continue to change. The other thing is sure, you will do it step by step. So while you are in version number 1 with your plant, and I think Gabriel put that really nicely as an example in the factory automation, you have to go back and say, okay, if I change now, if I optimize now, if I use a different feedstock now, if I want to change the energy because the energy prices have gone up, what could I produce? Can I simulate that? Can I simulate that before I bring it into the production? I mean, by using the software that I have in the application? Am I able to do the changes in the application I need and download them into my automation system and see that working and go iteratively? Can I use this digital twin in order to help also my service people and my operational people to use workflows? Because we're not doing that for the engineering department alone. We're also doing that for the operation. So we have to connect all this information to the operation, and we have to deal with workflows to make operation easier, to bring all the information and augmented reality to the operators, because we have a shortage of skilled labor. And this is how we can adapt with that. How do we want to approach that? Well, we want to start with Plant engineering, very object-oriented, creating a digital twin, fulfilling the digital twin of that plant, but also enhancing the digital twin with a digital twin of the product, of your chemical or maybe pharmaceutical product, by doing simulation of that product down to the molecule and combining that with a digital twin. Bringing that in connection to the automation level and feed back the information from the automation level so that we better use the information, that we create workflows where customers and operators can use that and increase the asset reliability, the operations intelligence, and of course the digital intelligence. We are able to do that today. It is still a far way because not every plant is a green field. And of course, we have to do that, implement that step by step also in the installed brownfield. But we have very interesting technologies and product at the start. And I would like to point out that we have a very, very interesting presentation coming up at 12:15. And I see Matthias back there on the table. Matthias is going to give, to me, one of the most interesting presentations we're going to see at this conference. So 12:15, it will be Matthias talking about the metaverse and about digitalization. Thank you so much.